Okay, there it is. I'm gonna risk tick and limb to get the first, stop this, first raspberry. And yes, it's not ready, but I'm gonna, oh, that was a mistake. Well, it broke into pieces, so I guess, I knew it was at least 2 or 3 weeks away. But I saw that first red berry. It wasn't even ready to pull, of course, but I thought it might come off. This is the Dogwood Chronicles. I have not read the readings or I've read a few of the saints. There were saints yesterday, the 16th, the 17th, that were both very interesting. I got to go back and get those for you. Sorry, Tobes. No water for you. Come over here. There's water over there. Go get it. So I'm going to tell you. So I was reading an article, not an article, I was reading Carolyn Hacks, who gives advice to people. Usually, well, it's not the Family Almanac or the Family Advice, but this one is about, it says, husband is a secret bigot, and I'm the only one who sees that side of him. So, dear Carolyn, my husband always leaned politically right, but in the last several years, he seems to be flirting with the fringe elements of the right side. Everything will be fine for a few months. Gus, let's have a seat. Let's have a seat. Let's have a seat. I'm going to have a seat. You're going to wait, and I'm going to read this. And it's going to take too long. Thank you, Gus. Over the last several years, flirting with the fringe elements of the right wing. Everything will be fine for a few months. Then something will set him off, and he'll go on a rant. Only to me, only when we're alone. Oh, so he's so sneaky. Only to me, and only when we're alone, about how he's not going to call a trans kid we've known forever by the kid's chosen name, and will use his dead name, whatever the hell that is, if he feels like it, and how gay people shouldn't have been given the right to marry, or how there should be no exception for outlawing abortion. This happens maybe twice a year. Okay, and then blah-de-da-de-da-de. I don't know how to reconcile the vile things. So those now, I can only go with what she's saying here. So I'm going to hit these things piece by piece. First off, maybe this lady shouldn't be the arbitrator of morals. If this is what we're supposed to go by, he's going to call a trans kid by their dead name. So Bill, who we've always known as Bill, now wants to be Mary, and it's bigoted to call him Bill, even though that's who he is. If you test his DNA, it's not going to come up female. It's not going to come up Mary. In other words, it's going to come up Bill, because he's still a man. No matter what he does, he's still a man. So gay people shouldn't have been given the right to marry. Well, marriage has always been a man and a woman in front of God and community or state, declaring that they will take care of each other, so the state doesn't have to, and any children that come from that union, which inevitably happens most of the time, not always, but most. Well, okay, so that is marriage. Just because the government, or even just because a majority of people agree with something, doesn't mean it's right, does it? Didn't Nazi Germany go ahead and kill millions of people? Was that right? No, but it was the majority. It became the law. So just because the law says that 2 men or 2 women can be married doesn't make it right. It may make it legal, but my opinion shouldn't be my opinion should be based on my morals. And that, my morals would say that that's what marriage has always been. And when you start diluting it, and it is a slippery slope, and if you look at the last 75 years, you see the slippery slope. No divorce, now divorce. No contraception, now contraception. No abortion, now abortion. No gay marriage, now gay marriage. So, don't tell me it doesn't. It doesn't slope slippery. And then, what is this? Abortion, no exceptions for outlawing abortion. Well, abortion is killing human life. Like it or not, if you let that child, if you don't abort that child, it's not going to grow. She's not going to have a pineapple, a baby kangaroo. She's not going to birth a tree. She's going to birth a human. So what's in her womb is human, and you're killing a human in a certain stage of development. And then here's the answer. I don't know how to reconcile the dehumanizing things he says. If I tell the truth and you don't like it, is that dehumanizing? Or is that just you not liking the truth? She says, married to a secret bigot. Have you said this exactly to him? Which she said in the article that she did ask him. She said it appalls her, the things he says. And she doesn't really, this is her, how has she dealt with this? If she's not happy with what he says, what is she asking Carolyn's advice about? When he's not saying these dehumanizing things, and have you asked him when he's not keyed up? So when he's not ranting. I don't know how to reconcile, blah, blah. I can't make any arguments that suggests, this is quoting, that suggests it's okay for him to say bigoted things only when letting off steam. But I would certainly want to know whether that's what he's doing, what he believes 100%, and is simply aware of his personal cost, that if he owns that. From what you say, he stands to lose his spouse, maybe his kids, many friends, and the local embrace if he believes this stuff out loud. Or anywhere but selected online communities. Well, I would say at least 40% of the population, possibly 60% of the population, maybe 50%, maybe 49% of the population recognizes things like we shouldn't manipulate preteens and teens and try to help them to become a different sex than they try to help. You can't do it. You really can't do it. All you're doing is making cosmetics. You're not turning a boy into a girl. You're simply putting a costume on a boy to make him think he looks like a girl. Lying to people isn't loving. People say, oh, it's not loving, blah, 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 blah. To tell people this and to tell people that. Telling them the truth may hurt your feelings, but it's actually better to not lie to someone than to continue to allow them more time in their delusion. It's better to say what's the truth, for better or worse, and let that sink in. And then if the person wants to continue, fine. But you did the right thing by saying the truth to them. This is going to go long. His spouse, his friends. Yeah, people can't talk out in there is a large percentage of people who believe in all these things, who think that placating a child who is confused. I was reading an article or something, if I understood it, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie have a kid named Shiloh, who went through, and I may be getting this wrong, but who went through the whole thing, which is typical. A lot of these Hollywood, it's very trendy now to have a trans kid or a gay kid. Anyway, this girl was having some confusions, so they let her cut her hair short, and they did some of the things, but if I'm understanding, I didn't research it, it seemed they didn't go very deep in this. They left her alone, and now she's a beautiful young lady who's clearly, it would seem, well adjusted. And they tell us most of these kids, the vast majority, will grow out of this phase that they're going through. Also, we know that the more people talk about something, the more it happens. If you tell a kid, don't go after that cookie up in on the counter, you know darn good and well he's going to do it. And if you keep saying it and saying it, if you don't tell him about it, or if you tell him don't go to the cookie and leave it at that, but if you keep harping on it, you know he's going to end up trying to get that cookie. So perhaps Angelina and Brad did the right, if I understood, did the right thing, more or less. They placated the kid for a little while, but they didn't go crazy. They left her alone, and lo and behold, she actually realized she's a girl, a lady. Wow, who would have thought? Okay, so then we get readers' thoughts. I think it's important to think through what you want to say, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then this person says, if you stay calm, ask questions, and probe what's behind those feelings, the other person may hear themselves and realize why what they're saying is wrong. Well, all I can say is, hypocrite, heal thyself to that one. If you stay calm and ask questions to probe about what's behind those feelings, in other words, the feelings that you think that two men can be married, the feelings, this is, okay, I'm turning this in the counter. These people, I've said this before, the Post, you'll see people and they'll go, you'll see the liberals or the Democrats saying this, making all these claims about Republicans or conservatives, and then you look and you go, you know what, if you just switch this word and this word and this word, you'd be doing the exact same thing. But they never see that. What's behind those feelings, the other person may hear themselves and realize what they're saying is wrong. You know, when you think that you are the arbiter of morality, okay, now I'm going to bring God into it. God made this whole show. He knows what he's doing. And when you start saying that you know that God didn't make a man and woman, he made a man and woman and 75 and counting other gender classifications, perhaps you're the one who's wrong and not God. Maybe you, with the minuscule intellect compared to God with intelligence and infinite intelligence, perhaps maybe, just maybe, you might think it might be you. It might just be you. So anyway, no one's going to listen to this because it's way too long. Bigot, intolerant of opinions and lifestyles or identities that are different than their own. That sounds like Carolyn, and it sounds like the other reader, and it sounds like the lady who brought this up. They all disagree with him. So who's the bigot? Why is he the bigot? Because you don't agree with him and you think that you're on the higher ground. You think that you're on the right side of this historically. And so therefore, I guess, because you think you're right, you've got the right morals, that makes him against your different intolerant of opinions and identities that are different than your own. So anyway, I'm going to have to make this shorter. So, this is a long one. So, yeah, there's my thoughts on this article from Monday, June 17th. Style section, Carolyn Hack's husband is a secret bigot. What's the word I would call for someone? Wife is a not secret, woke, following the bandwagon, on the wrong side of history, gonna be watching when the doctors all get sued for this malpractice that they're basically doing. Yeah, we'll see. What's the word for that? Bigot? Maybe.